Hey, what it do, what the business is?
It is another week in the books with the OndeckTV podcast. I am Spike Luke.
Man, holla at your boy Animal Brown, Animal_Brown if you're looking for me. Instagram, Twitter, and sometimes Snap.
All the time, Snap. I am Spike Luke on the Instagrams and the tweet streets. Come find the podcast guy.
And we got an action-packed episode, but
Facts.
Before we get into that,
Yes.
On the scale of 0 to freezing my balls off, how cold was New York?
Ironically, it was not that cold.
I don't believe that.
It wasn't. My country ass went up there with a hoodie for a jacket because I didn't want to pack. It's a big old jacket, but we made it work, man. I was hollered at my boy Money Green. He took me up to Harlem.
See you, boy.
Got to get some good food. Who knew Dominicans cook like black people? I didn't know that. They had the Big Dog soul food spot. It was good. The chicken was fire.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so we definitely got to check that out. Went to Stadium Goods.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It was
for sure.
cracking in there.
Yeah.
Really expensive shoes.
I was going to say, you ain't cop?
No, absolutely not. I'm waiting to get to a place in my life where I can buy $10,000 sneakers. Let me ask you, Fresh for Dummy guy.
Absolutely.
Do they make the high-ass shoes like out of a different material, or is it just because like it's limited supply?
It's limited.
So the supply and demand is the price driver.
That's all. Yeah, some of them have special
Nigga,
material, but not $10,000.
My shit better be indestructible.
Nah, they regular shoes.
Nah, my nigga. This shit better come with a lifetime warranty, nigga. Like clouds to walk on and all that shit for 10 bands, nigga.
Negative.
But this week, man, we're gonna get right into it. We're talking about Birdman and Drake. Limited budgets going on over there. What does that mean for the Cash Money artist? Hint, hint. Also, we're talking about Planet Fitness versus Lil Boosie. Whose side do you fall on? And is Eminem a guest in hip-hop? But first, our condolences go out to Pop Smoke, who lost his life tragically over the past week since we recorded in L.A. He was out there for promo for his previous album that was just released, and an apparent robbery / home invasion happened, and he was killed. He was 20 years old. What do you think about the reactions and just the overall happenings of Pop Smoke?
Yeah, man, this was a terrible incident. Obviously, I was becoming a fan of Pop Smoke's within the top of the year. I thought New York was going to run 2020, and I thought he was going to lead the charge. And even though we're not 100% clear on what happened, I know the internets was saying one thing about how he accidentally or unknowingly posted his address where he was staying on Instagram, which is a rap no-no, you know what I'm saying? Especially when you guapped up and you got the whips and shit out front.
Period. Nigga.
Well, that's a no-no period.
You don't want nobody pulling up to you.
Especially after you just got through flexing on the gram. And some people think it was the robbery. Some people think it may have been gang-related. Some people would say, based on the surveillance, that it indicated it was a hit, which is on a whole nother level of shit. I know that Pop canceled a show earlier in the week in New York due to safety concerns. I know that Summer Jam, the police wouldn't let him perform at Summer Jam due to his affiliations and safety concerns. And I know that he was just on the phone. A source close to the situation said he was telling his girl to make sure she had the doors locked. And you know what I mean? And listen, that may have been just regular them talking. But when you put it all in the context of things that have happened, it smells like he may have been aware of something that he needed to be on the lookout for. So posting his address, even though he was in Cali, probably wasn't the best idea. Not to put anything on him, but it's just unfortunate the way it turned out. So I hate to see it. It's 20 years old. It's just ugly, man. It's just an ugly situation all the way around.
Yes, man. Very sad situation. It's very unfortunate that a young man lost his life that had so much promise. Yeah. And what I looked towards is, of course, is the jealousy that's involved with it, just the overall just politics, the gang culture that he was a part of. That was apparently a part of it too. Yeah. Most importantly for me, though, what I think could have prevented this is the artist development aspect of it. And what I mean by that is if you listen to different artists and their come up, they'll tell you, I went on tour, like 50 will say, I went on tour with Master P. Yeah. Or Jay will say, when I was still hustling in the streets, Jazzo took me and he showed me what it was like to be a rapper. Yeah. Nowadays, you got artists who are able to get popular off SoundCloud, get popular off Instagram, Twitter, and they go from where they recorded on their MacBooks in the little small studios to boom, they're in the limelight. And they're right there, and the label's not necessarily telling them how to be safe. Mm-hmm. They're instructing them how to make money for the label. So they don't really have the artist's best interest in mind. If artists still went through that development phase where like they're in the D League or they're in a minor league system, they can see how you're supposed to move as a successful artist, what you're supposed to do when you're staying in LA for a week, the steps you're supposed to take to be safe. Even with Juice WRLD, what you're supposed to do when the police hop on your plane and not down a whole lot of pills. And I'm not blaming these artists particularly for this, the game as a whole. What they're doing is eating and just tossing out these artists, and they're not taking into account what they mean to these communities, what they mean to their families. They're just using them as workhorses. Yeah. And that has to be changed, and the only way I feel like that can be changed is artist development, artists reaching back for artists, taking them on the road, showing them, hey, this is how you move. If you are going to stay out here for a week, this is what you need to do. Those things start to happen, we start seeing a lot less lives lost in our community, and I just hope the artists wake up and start to do that for the younger artists. Like a guy like Pop Smoke, I didn't hear of him a year ago this time.
Yeah, right.
But in that year, like, he's skyrocketed to like one of the biggest stars in that genre of hip hop, that York music. And people, like, he had a target. People wanted to take him out, apparently. And no one was there to tell him how you're supposed to move when those things do face you. Like you said, he made the phone calls to his girl. There may have been things that he couldn't catch because he was busy.
Right.
And
they didn't lock the door, or they didn't set the alarm.
Didn't set the alarm when they got there. Just things that you need to know how to operate when you are a rapper, when you are a successful person. You need a mentor. You need to be able to sit back and see, especially these kids that are thrown right into it. You see so many things happening to them where, like, that could have been prevented had they been able to ask someone.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate to where I saw Blueface he had came and went on social media and talked about how LA wasn't sweet and all of this type stuff, and
he telling the truth though.
I
don't know if I need Blueface to tell me that, but I mean, he's telling the truth, like.
Especially when you're a street artist like
Pop Smoke was affiliated.
Right.
So it's different rules apply when they go out there. So, I mean, and had he dealt with the older artists, maybe had been on tour with them and see how they move when they out there and they are affiliated. Like, you just start to be accustomed to these things and know what you have to do and what you can't do. So
posting your address is something that you can't do.
Yeah, I think that.
You just can't do it. I'm not even trying to put it on that, but he did it. He posted it on IG, and he deleted it, but it was too late. It was already shared to Facebook. He didn't delete it off Facebook, so it was out there.
And another thing that struck up to me is the Mace and Diddy situation. 20 years later, you got Mace coming to Diddy saying, hey, you owe me this money. But yet he was on tour with him the week before last or whatever it may be. I've always looked at Puff and Mace like family.
For sure.
And that's one of the things when Puff is talking about black excellence, and you said this, he was like, well, if he black, he should be looking out for me on the money aspect and not doing what the bigger labels do. Right. I think you get that family aspect from a label like Bad Boy, like they're not gonna let black-owned labels, TDE, Bad Boy, things of the nature, not gonna let you move around like a bigger Universal or whatever, Warner Music Group, because like all you are to them is a number that's bringing in money. Mm-hmm. When you're dealing with a smaller boutique label, people, they're more concerned about your well-being.
Agreed.
And these younger artists just need more people around them that are concerned about their well-being and not concerned about the bag.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke, man. Condolences to his friends, family, and fans.
Yeah.
For sure.
Facts.
Man, moving on to Birdman. Birdman was on Everyday Struggle last week, and he was asked about Drake's rumored unlimited album budget. Now, Baby responded saying that he would give that to all his artists that he worked with. That's including Wayne, Nicki, and Young Thug. Is it strange that Birdman is still speaking on Cash Money Records with those aforementioned acts who aren't repping Cash Money anymore?
Till I see paperwork to say these guys not on Cash Money, I'm reading this as Birdman still got ties to them and they owe albums. They want to make these albums, the budget is whatever they want it to be, but they got to go through Birdman and he got to get his cut. That's the business, that's the cost of doing business with Birdman. With that being said, I do think that Birdman, due to his success at Universal and the many acts that he's rolled out over the long period of time, he probably does have an open book. So if he wants to do an album and he calls up Drake and Drake says, well, it's going to be $10 million, Mr. Birdman. Mr. Birdman is going to call up Universal, say, hey, got this Drake track, I need $10 million.
I need $15 million.
I need 15. Exactly. Gonna keep them 5. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Now, I think that's more so what he means. I couldn't see Drake partnering up with Birdman to do any more music. I couldn't see Nicki to do it.
No need.
They don't. Whoa.
There's no need. They're already established. There's nothing Birdman can do for them right now at this point.
Birdman can't do nothing for Nicki?
No. She's in the door already.
If Nicki Minaj and Birdman. Jesus.
No.
Nicki Minaj and Birdman going to Universal looking for a budget. Who gets the higher budget?
Nicki.
Based off.
They don't need. Based off Birdman being only as good or as relevant as the people that are signed to him.
Right, so I can make more money if I'm the label if I give Birdman more money because the theory would he be going to find more talent. That would be the theory, right? Like he's gonna find the king of R&B. He's gonna have this like white rapper.
Look, Birdman is the master. I give him this. He's the master at keeping himself in the conversation.
He's gonna release a Juvenile album.
2 of them. The CEO of Universal Music Group came out a while ago and said that Drake had an unlimited album budget. Drake only, nobody else. He didn't mention anyone that Birdman mentioned. Birdman had to insert himself in the conversation as he sometimes does, and I get it. This is all perception. Birdman is perceived to be a boss. He's the head honcho. You know what I'm saying? And you have to have that persona to match what it is that you're doing. But the fact is his brand is built on who's under him. If there's nobody under him, there's nothing to stand on, and you're out here like Suge Knight. Like Suge Knight did the same thing. And when he came and got Pac, the legend was he dropped the 1.5 on him on bail to get him out of jail and all of that, and that the legend of Death Row grew from there. When in actuality, we learned several years later that Jimmy Iovine was the one that put up the money, not Suge. So, you know what I'm saying? But Suge knew how to play it, and he knew what that would mean for him and his brand if he was the one that came to it as opposed to Jimmy Iovine, and it worked. So I get it. That's what Birdman is trying to do. He's inserting himself in the conversation, and he may get us some points off of their albums moving forward. Who knows?
Right.
But it ain't enough to keep. He got to rebrand his Cash Money yesterday and to maintain, because you can't be holding on to these 20-year deals for $30 million that you did in '99, which was fucking awesome. But I don't know how long that's going to run you until 2020 and beyond, though, is what I'm saying. Because that Funeral album didn't have a Cash Money stamp nowhere on it in the credits, dude.
Wow.
And who knows what this Drake will have moving forward. And the second that Nicki gets a chance to skate, she gonna be gone.
You know what that Drake is gonna have on there. OVO.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not Cash, not CMB.
True. All right, so earlier this week, my guy, Torrance Hatch, a Lil Boosie, told us his thoughts about Dwayne Wade and his child's sex change. So Dwayne Wade was out doing the pub for the documentary that he has coming, and he was talking about his child, and that came up. Boosie goes to IG, and he has questions, and he has an issue. That Dwayne Wade's child is changing their sex.
Right.
And he thought that meant that the child was having surgery. The child's a little boy, and Boosie, and I quote, said, please, don't cut his dick off.
Don't cut his dick off, dog.
Dog.
There you go.
Planet Fitness, in response to that in their judgment-free zone, you know what they said? Boosie, you're banned. You can't come back in here. So, whose side do you fall on in this altercation between Boosie and Planet Fitness?
Really, I'm on nobody's side in particular on this one. That's the perk of being a business owner. You can pretty much choose who you want to patron your business or who you don't want, and you can deal with the consequences if they come afterward. But you don't have to accept any damn body if your name is on the front.
That's not true.
So I will say that Boosie is doing basically what Pimp C would have done if Instagram existed in 2005. Pimp C, this is exactly what he would have been. He'd have been bold, controversial, entertaining, and that will...
And spot on sometimes.
Sometimes spot on, sometimes way off.
Yeah.
This will split people right down the middle. You're either going to offend half the people that's watching, or you're going to make the other half laugh. And whichever side you fall on that is fine. I'm falling on the side that's laughing because right now it is funny, for the simple fact that, like you said, I think that Boosie thought that being a transsexual meant that you were changing your sex physically. I don't think he knows that means you're identifying as fair. No, it's fair, but it's fucking hilarious. Because I never heard D-Wade or anybody else mentioning taking it that far.
He said he's going to identify as a girl.
Right. So don't cut his dick off, dog. That's... Bro, it's
12,
funny.
Especially.
It's funny, bro. So, yeah, I know that's your man, so I already know where you finna go with it, but I'm not on nobody's side.
I'm always falling on the side of the First Amendment, meaning that I am a podcaster and I have the right to speak my mind, and I definitely don't want companies coming out and saying, well, if you do this, you can't come in here, because I'm going to say some wild shit on here at some point in time. With that being said, I think that we get to a place in society where everybody want to rush to judge and say that this person was wrong or right about what they said. And we get to a place where people are going to be afraid to speak their mind because they don't want to get canceled. They don't want the backlash. Another example of this, I would say, is Snoop and Gayle and the whole thing. Snoop was just speaking his mind. He was hurt. He was offended that she asked that question, and he should have the room to be hurt. And then he came back out and apologized, which is even better. You don't even have to do that. I think that we need to leave people the space to react still in 2020. We can't overreact to reactions. Let people get it off. Unless it's uber offensive like what you say and you just way out of line with some shit, you got to give people the space to react to what they see and, like, just live a little bit. Enjoy. Quit trying to be so PC. So, me, I appreciate the little Boosie in his rants, but I've always been a fan of his music. And if you do follow his music and him, he has always been an uncandid guy. Like, this is what made him popular and famous. The one-liners in his music, the skits, things like that. That's what built Boosie up to this day. And I'm glad people are getting to experience that. I just hope that he didn't get to a point where he's canceled out. The Pimp C analogy was great. I think that's what hip-hop needs in 2020, someone that can speak their mind like that. Who's like, I don't think that he was speaking from a place of malice. He was showing genuine concern about the little boy getting his dick cut off.
That's true.
So, I like it, man, and I'm siding with Boosie.
He knows what he's doing, man, and I'm not mad at him. He's a personality now. Facts. And it's more entertaining to me than his music was. Yes. I wasn't that big of a fan.
That's not true.
No, I wasn't that big of a fan at all.
No, I'm saying it's more entertaining than his music.
Oh, yes, definitely more.
He got classics. Come on. Boosie got classics.
He got classic IG videos. That was a classic IG video.
Mixtapes. Classic.
Nah, that shit was funny, man, and I get it. Look, if you think it's funny, I get it. If you're offended, okay, cool, I get that too. I'm just not easily offended, so it's funny to me. But I'll be watching. Boosie is crazy. I don't want this to jeopardize things that he may have on deck in the future, whatever that looks like. Boosie is his own boss. He got his own shit going on, so he may not give a shit. So maybe he doesn't need to be concerned about anything.
He been showing the workouts at his house. He got the workout. He got the elliptical machine and shit in the crib now. He been showing it getting off.
Real quick, I seen Larry Johnson that used to play for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, my God. Please don't bring his name.
His Twitter feed is nuts.
He's nuts.
He said that Boosie and Planet Fitness collaborated with this false flag incident to market the trans agenda and Planet Fitness. So he said this was all set up.
Yeah, because Planet Fitness thinks that Boosie is big enough to get them to that next level. Like, Boosie's the guy that they're going to go to put this whole thing together.
That's the
Larry
face of
Johnson.
Planet Fitness.
Yeah, like just the crowd that we needed in Planet Fitness, let's get Boosie to get them in here. Fuck out of here, Larry Johnson. Dude, some niggas shouldn't have a Twitter, dog.
His reach game, CTE kicking his ass right now.
Man, bro, like, sheesh.
Man, before we get to our guest, man, Juju McLean, let's talk about Eminem. Now, while speaking on Slaughterhouse's Crooked Eyes podcast called Crooked Corner.
Crooked Eyes podcast?
Yeah, he's on Slaughterhouse, though,
wow.
Formerly. Eminem was asked about Lord Jamar's Eminem's a guest in hip-hop culture comments. The Detroit MC admitted that he is, in fact, a guest in hip-hop. Do you believe Eminem is a guest in rap?
I think Eminem has contributed enough to this culture to not be disrespected by Lord Jamar and be called a guest as if it's a bad thing. We're all guests here. I think the contributions that he's made, whether it be Slaughterhouse, whether it be just that style of rap, the battle, the witty one-liners, Eminem opened doors for other people to be and do certain things. And there was a large fan base of people who related to what he was talking about. I may not have been one of them, or Jamar may not have been one of them.
Right.
But the numbers showed that there were a lot of people out there who cared about what Eminem said and the commentary that he had on the game. So with that being said, of course, he's a guest, but he was a very well-respected guest. And Lord Jamar's a guest. We're all guests of this culture, and I think that we need to do the most to keep it going. Eminem did a very smart thing in response to this and not taking the bait and making this a me versus you, which Lord Jamar probably would have turned into you versus hip-hop.
Of course.
And I think that Eminem, being the smart guy that he is, didn't take that bait. So
yeah, I think we're all guests, and I don't think it's as black and white as literally as Lord Jamar is trying to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think just because you're black, you own hip hop, and just because you're white, you're a guest. Because there's black people in hip hop that are clowns and that are fucking people over that look like them and are not providing or any type of substance to hip-hop. There's clowns that look like Lord Jamar and me and you, but there's also people who are contributing. And so I think if you're a guest, if you're a guest in someone's house, then you're treating it with respect and dignity as if it was yours. And I think that's what Eminem does. Whether you like the music or not, that's all relative. That doesn't matter in this instance. I don't like Lord Jamar music, but I wouldn't say he's a, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, nigga, you're not supposed to be here.
You wouldn't disrespect
because I don't listen to him.
place.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think he is hell-bent for some reason. I'm not 100% sure where this all started, but he's hell-bent on going at Eminem, and it's just, bro, you just holler at the moon, bro, when you can easily turn your attention to several other people who don't call themselves guests in hip-hop, but they're getting money and making checks off of it and don't give two shits about the culture. Like, you could easily go at them if you got time to do all this shit. Facts. So I just think it's old. I don't get it.
Yeah, he's made this.
Let it go.
Why is he's making this a thing with him versus Eminem?
No, nobody cares.
I have no idea why he's making this a thing.
Nobody cares. He's a personality. He's on Vlad. He has actually his Vlad interviews were pretty entertaining actually, and I like some of the shit that he says.
You the last nigga on earth still watching Vlad.
Vlad got some okay shit nowadays.
No, he does not. Nah.
But he got, bro, Lord Jamar, let this go, bro. We get it. You don't like Eminem music. That's fine. A lot of people don't. Just keep it moving, bro. It's not that deep. We're going to keep it moving. We'll be right back after this. Holla at our boy Juju McLean.
What's going on OndeckTV listeners? It's your boy J-Ho from the Full Sport Press Podcast featuring myself, Jeff, and Weezy each and every Monday, FSP style. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Man, we are back. It's the OndeckTV podcast. It's your man, Animal Brown.
I am Spike Lou.
Man, I told you we had a special guest in the building that needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway, all right? We talking the director of A&R at Platter Boyz. All right, we got our guy Juju McLean in the building. What's good, sir?
What's going on? Though? Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you, man.
We're glad you coming through. We're going to touch on a few things, right? We're going to touch on what Platter Boyz got cooking, what that is exactly, and what they doing right now. We're going to touch on everything. Danny Wolf, all the big things they doing. I see you got the platinum certifications on the IG, all of that. But first things first, how was that Roc Nation brunch?
Oh, the brunch is crazy.
Is it everything that it looked like on IG? Because it looked lit.
So the brunch, so that was my second time going, the second in a row, and it's got better. It's gotten better. Like, it's very rare that you see that much black excellence in one place, and they actually run that shit. So it's like when you see Jay-Z walk through, and everybody's like, "Hey, bro, that's Jay-Z."
Yeah.
Or you see Beyonce walk through, and Beyonce, like, literally, this is a room full of executives, the highest executives you can get to. Like, Robert Kraft was there this year, hanging out, just kicking it, because that's one of Meek's great friends. So he was just kicking it. Robert Kraft didn't have security, but Beyonce walked through. She got 2 security guards beside her, because, like, folks, it's still Beyonce.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you have, like, the heads of studios, movie studios there. Like, it's cool. It's a vibe. Like, everybody getting drunk, having a good time.
Did you eat?
Man, what?
The rumor is
Nigga,
there's no food.
First thing I did when I got there, I had
Big boy plate.
Yeah. First thing I had when I got there was some steak and eggs.
Act like you at the Roc Nation brunch.
Yeah. I had steak and eggs, and they hand you a little Ace of Spades when you walk in.
A whole bottle?
No. They hand you. So they hand you just hand you a glass of it. Say, "Welcome to the brunch."
Okay.
Now, not fanning out or nothing like that, because I know you work with a lot of people. Who are you most excited to see in the 2 years that you've gone?
Who was I most excited to see?
Yeah, like who would you
So,
see? And you
crazy
was like,
enough,
oh shit!
one of my-
Besides Jay-Z, and
my
Beyonce, of
business
course.
partner Marlon. I took a picture. I took one of the last pictures of Nipsey in that burgundy suit, and that shit like it's like really like every time I think of it, the brunch.
Yeah.
That's one of my realest realizations I have. Like, damn,
How'd that come about?
The picture.
Yeah.
So Marlon like is a diehard Nipsey fan.
Right.
Like diehard. Like got him through school. When he dropped out, like literally,
That was his guy.
that's his guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had seen Nipsey after the brunch, but it was important at the brunch because we ran into him, and it was him and Lauren. They were just kicking it, and he was like, Mom was like, yo, like my man, like your mixtapes got me through a lot of shit, bro. And like they chopped it up for a second.
Really?
And Nipsey was like, yo, let's take a picture. Marlon didn't
Ask
ask.
him to take
Nipsey
a
was like, let's take a
picture.
picture. So he was just a real stand up nigga, and that shit like,
Yeah.
so that was one that I was like, that's a memorable moment. And then like, this is the first time I seen Rihanna there. Rihanna wasn't there last year,
Man,
so she was there this year.
jeez.
In part,
Did you get that picture?
I had-
behind her was a camera. They done put you
Nah,
out.
so funny enough, like it's funny as hell because I had a picture that went viral. I was standing drinking a drink, and one of the homies that's a stylist, he took a picture of me, and when I was drinking, she was in my background.
oh shit.
So it wasn't intended for her to be in my background. She was just
Yeah,
happened to be in the
just got the
background.
picture,
But
yeah.
I was standing there like at the brunch, like everybody just moves around freely. Like you go to, they have several bars, they got several different stations to get food, like just different vibes going on, people having conversations. So I'm standing in a spot, and I just left the bar, and this big motherfucker bumps me, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I look up, and it's a big ass security guard. I was like, okay, my man, I ain't
You
mean
got
to-
it?
I mean to
Yeah,
push
yeah.
up on you because ain't nobody ever like normally, you know,
Right.
you can move around freely. And I look right, but like he moves out the way, and Rihanna standing like this. We like here, and I was like, damn, you look good. And I like when I said that, like
The legend
Marlon, like
was
I was
right
like,
there.
okay, this is the point to get a picture, my nigga. This is the.
he was
picture.
asleep. He was
Nigga
asleep
wasn't
at the
even
wheel?
right there.
Ah.
They were on the other side, so like it's like this big ass section in the middle with like flowers and like all these cool decorations and shit. He was on the other side of shit talking, having a full conversation. I was
You
like,
gotta
nigga,
remind that nigga that forever.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
Bro,
nah, I
you
was
remember
like-
you didn't get that picture?
got
of me
one
and
job,
Rihanna,
man,
bro,
we had
like
to-
me and
at the
Rihanna,
brunch.
bro.
Nah, it was all good though, because Beyonce posted me the first year, so I ain't even tripping.
Nice. I swear.
real.
I swear.
That's dope, man. All right, now let's get to some business, man. Platter Boyz. What exactly is that for the people that don't know?
So Platter Boyz is a full service artist management, and we have a new joint venture with Equity, where we are distributing their music as well as artist development.
Okay.
Cool. So let me ask you, before even the Roc Nation brunch and Platter Boyz, how'd you get into the position to be doing this?
Shit, man, I thugged it out.
Really was so. Let me refocus the question. Was that your intention to be here when you started, or were you coming in to do something else?
I mean, my intention when I started was I knew that I wanted to be an A&R and a manager.
You knew what an A&R was.
I knew what an A&R was.
Really?
I've known what an A&R was since I used to like make weak ass mixtapes back in the day, like of all old school hits from mom and family
What
members.
year we talking about?
Shit, man, when LimeWire and BearShare, we used to crash computers. So 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
You said you used to print the mixtapes.
Oh, I used to print the mixtapes. My
Take all
mom
night
used to be like,
downloading and shit.
Another fucking Firewire going down. Like it was crazy. But so, nah, I knew that I wanted to like. I never wanted to be an artist. Like that shit's not just my style. Like I don't like to be in front of the camera and all that. And feel like it's too much going on for me. So like I knew I always wanted to be an A&R. I dibble and dabble in DJing sometimes. But yeah, like I knew that behind every artist, somebody has to develop their brand. Somebody has to be putting together the dope shit that they're doing. Because artists, like working with an artist, or seeing an artist,
Right.
a lot of guys are only just creative. They don't know how to
miss
do
the
business.
business
They don't know how to business creative. And like my thing was, I've always loved business. I've had business since I was small, or a child. So my thing was, I want to be the business creator for an artist.
Okay.
And create their brand and take this shit forward.
Talk about the business mind when you're young. Like, give me an example of what.
Man, I had a lawnmower business when I used to cut grass. Like
Where you from?
I'm from North Carolina originally. I'm from Raleigh, but I mean, I've been here for I've been in Atlanta since 2003, 4.
Okay.
So you was cutting grass in Raleigh though.
I was cutting grass in Raleigh. I was see the way you started the business, I used to cut all the family. I used to be like, yo, you need your grass cut, I'm pulling up. I charge you $25. If I gotta pull a weed eater and a blower out, and I gotta
40.
bag the shit up, it's 40. It's a 40. And they was like, okay, we respect the hustle. So then my pops had went and got me, my stepdad, he went and got me a Bro, I thought I was in the game. He went and got me a weed eater with that. You didn't have to change the strings out, so you can cut more quicker.
Yeah.
So he was like,
killing it.
yeah. So I started doing that. So then the business really took off when my dad used to be a district manager for Waffle House.
Okay.
So when you're a district manager, you get all these different stores, and they had a guy who had a contract who was cutting the grass, but the dude who had the contract, he was charging too much, and I was only 15. So I was like, shit, I cut the grass. I'll cut it for half the price. Like at the time, it was like, for each store you get like $3.50 a store to cut it.
Oh,
and
word.
I was like, nigga, I'll cut the grass. Let's do it. So I was cutting 4 stores a week, like in high school. So
Eating.
so it's funny because I got kicked out of work study for it because she was like, that's not a real job. I was like, bitch, I'm making more than everybody in this class is making.
business. How is it not a real job?
So, but I used to blow that money on sneakers and shit. Like, I was that kid.
I can
What's
respect it.
your favorite pair of sneakers you bought with that money?
Ooh, today, man.
To
I
this
sold
day,
them and I'm
you
sick.
know what it is.
I'm sold them and I'm sick. I bought the Zen Yeezys.
Really? And you
I
sold
bought bro, I didn't know them, but I was a broke college student when I sold them.
Yeah, I get it.
I didn't know
get
no
it.
better.
I don't even know what.
Now that I think back to the original Nike Yeezys.
Yeah, it's the
I'm
ones,
fucking
right?
with you.
I was about to say, bro, when I say sick,
Damn, bro.
sick, I'm like,
Them grails, bro.
bro. And I sold them for a crackhead price, so I don't even want to talk about that shit.
Shit, we gotta keep it
We ain't
moving.
gonna
then.
talk about that one.
So you in high school, you got a pocket full of money, you're making mixtapes, right?
Yes.
And you know that you wanted to be an A&R. Most people just hear that word, like A&R.
Well,
They
in high school,
never-
actually, so in high school, I played sports. Like, I was all state football. So,
Okay.
like,
What position you play?
I played running back and slot receiver. I ended up going to Morehouse and playing football because I went to the homecoming.
Morehouse got a football team?
Bro, so
I'm
let me tell you why.
fucking
Hold on. So this is the fucked up part. So I had all these scholarships, right? And I was all set to go to UNC. Like, UNC was my top pick. I was like, I'm going.
What year was this?
This was 2010.
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to UNC. Like, they offered me the scholarship. I'm going. Man, I went to Morehouse for homecoming because my trainer at the time, he went to Clark. So he was like, yo, like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but this is HBCU Morehouse. And I was like, Morehouse, I heard that Martin Luther King went there. I was like, oh, it's prestigious. Like, because I had visited Harvard too.
Right.
So, like, because I was kind of smart.
Smart.
I graduated with 3.7,
Smart.
something like that. And I played sports. So, you know, a black man with a high GPA.
Nah, they gonna take that. Yeah.
And then my cousin was playing at Harvard at the time. So, like, they started looking at me.
You picked Morehouse over Harvard?
So I'll tell you about the Harvard visit. So I go to the homecoming. When I go to the homecoming, I was like, yo, I've never seen this many beautiful black women in my fucking life.
Yeah, that's a fact.
This shit is lit. My tour guide at the time was John Washington, which is Denzel's son.
Oh shit.
That was my tour guide. And then, like,
The nigga that play in Ballers?
yeah, he was a running back in Morehouse. So he was my host for the weekend.
Word.
And bro, that shit we went to the strip club. Like, I'm pretty sure I can't talk about this shit, but we went to the strip club, all that shit. That shit was lit as fuck. And I was like, bro,
I'm going to Morehouse.
because I had did all those other visits. I was like, bro, this shit, all these white people looking at me crazy.
Yeah.
I gotta come here at, like, they talking about 3 o'clock workouts. So, man, fuck all that. I'm trying to see all this. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So then, you know, God always has a plan for you.
Yeah.
I actually went to Morehouse and I played football for 1 year and I broke my ankle. And after I broke my ankle, they took my scholarship. They broke it in half, took it. And I was like, all right, I got to figure this shit out. But I knew that music in the background, like, at the time I started managing an artist. And literally, he was like, yo, like, let's do this shit for real. So that's when I was like, all right, I'm doing this music shit. And at the time, I also met my mentor, who now I have the company Platter Boyz with.
Okay.
Nice.
So everything came full circle for me.
So
That's
you
wild.
met him in college? Okay.
I met him in college.
So it was between you was about to go to UNC.
Yes.
How you feel about that UNC
Harvard.
Duke game the other day?
Man, I'm sick. My dad is a diehard Duke fan. I'm a diehard UNC
he was
fan.
fucking with you,
So I be
too.
talking like we talk shit like doing.
Y'all sorry this shit though.
Man, we trash. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, we might not go 500. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Y'all
We
10
not
to
500 right now. We
y'all
10 to
like-
13, like
yeah,
10
y'all
to 14 right
13
now,
now.
something like that. And it's like it's pathetic to look at. But next year we got like 5 top 20
here we
players
go.
coming in. So I ain't, you know.
It's always next year.
It's over for Roy.
And let's not forget, we won
a
a national championship 2 years ago. So.
True. Y'all might need a new coach.
Nah,
I'm
Roy.
just saying,
The gym is
Roy
named
might-
after
he
him.
might
He ain't
be a
going
little
nowhere.
old,
The
man.
gym
He
is
might
named
be a
after
little
him.
old,
He not
man,
going
I'm telling
nowhere.
you. So a lot of people's stories started in Atlanta, like you say, man. Is the nightlife, the strip club, the city,
So I
the
used to throw
black
parties in
people.
college. I threw parties.
Okay,
I threw parties. I threw parties, and I used to promote concerts for Muddy Water. Richard Dunn. We used to do like I remember the biggest concert we did at the time was The Weeknd's first show at the Fox here.
Sweet.
And I thought I was that nigga. We didn't get paid shit, but I had free tickets.
Yeah,
So you know, with free tickets to The Weeknd, shit, that shit was. easy money.
Run it.
You can parlay that into some shit.
I used to do Big Sean's. I used to put up posters for Big Sean in college. Because at the time, Mike Brinkley, my mentor, was managing Big Sean.
Okay.
So I used to put up his posters and do his stuff for his tour. So like I had tickets to all the shows and shit like that. So it was perks to being a broke intern.
So you had a front row seat to what it was like managing somebody. You know what I'm saying? That was this good music deal, Big Sean, or a little bit before, a little bit after?
This is so history of Mike. Mike started Big Sean's career. Like he's the one who introduced Sean to Kanye.
Oh shit.
And then like that brokered that entire process, and then post Sean at Roc Nation.
Oh word.
Shout out to Mike. Mike's the senior vice president of Roc Nation now.
Oh shit. All right. Damn, that's what's up. That
have him here
quick.
next. Tell him we need that interview next. But so you start in college, throwing parties, you doing concerts, you being around more artists. When do you decide to put Platter Boyz into like the plan, write down, saying like, hey, this is what I want to do?
So Platter Boyz didn't come about until this last 2 years.
Okay.
So there's a whole backstory before Platter Boyz. Like originally it was On the Brink Music. That's the company Mike had started.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a young manager to be, like thinking I knew everything.
Gonna manage artists.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, don't get me wrong, I was doing okay. Like we weren't barely getting by, but like I was always a hustler. Like I told you, like I've always had a business mindset. So during that time frame, we were On the Brink Music. Mike was still managing Big Sean. He was still managing Key Wayne. So I was learning the business of music at the time. But my side hustle was I started silent parties in Atlanta. So the headphone parties, I brought those to Atlanta and like really just took it to a different place here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then like I was doing 3 to 4 parties a month and making like 10 grand, 10, 15 grand.
What were you studying in college?
Business marketing.
Okay, perfect.
I was studying business marketing and sociology, and eventually the marketing I was like, bro, I really know half this shit.
This already,
So I went to psychology and sociology because I was like, okay, I need to start understanding why these people think the way they think and why artists are moving the way they're moving.
That's good.
So that works. Hold on. So the psychology aspect of it, you put that to use when you kind of talking to the artist and you.
Oh, for sure.
Word.
So I think like the biggest thing now with where I am now and being an A&R and doing different things on projects, like I can sit down and talk to artists and understand where they are. Like I understand perspective now. And the biggest thing with putting together a great project, like you hear projects that are amazing, it's the perspective of the artist. They actually connect. And a lot of people don't understand how to make a record connect because they don't know how to create perspective or they don't know how to create just the overall a feel for a project. So
talk about that, creating perspective. Like, what do you mean?
So like I'm not the A&R that's gonna walk in and be like, all right, let me start playing some beats.
Right.
Like I legit like I like to hang out with the artists. I like to like literally sit there and figure out like what
you want to see the world through their eyes.
Yeah, let's talk about like how you've been the last year of your life. Like like what's going on? Like is there anything that is touchy? It's a touchy subject. Like
and then you want the album to reflect that.
Exactly.
That's interesting.
Because now you're creating pieces that become timeless and you create a perspective project. So like I learned that and I got pieces of that from working with Saha the Prince early on.
I was just about to ask you for an example of a project that you thought
I did Black History Project too.
Okay.
That's perfect.
And
example.
I did Saving Yusuf for Stally.
Okay.
I like those.
How was it
Especially
working with
the Black
Saha?
History Project.
He seemed like an interesting cat.
Saha is for sure interesting individual. Like
What does that mean? Why y'all say?
I mean he seems like he has an opinion.
Saha
Y'all
is
mean
like
weirdo?
Kanye.
He seems like a weirdo.
Kanye 2.0.
There we go.
He's Kanye 2.0.
Weirdo.
Like yes, like
Yeah.
he's he's Saha. Like you have to experience it to understand it.
What's a funny Saha story?
Man, Saha got us banned from. They had to change the rules at Midtown Athletic Club because of Saha.
Talk about it.
We used to go hoop up there, right? So Midtown Athletic Club, if anybody ever been there, this shit was more lit than Lifetime Fitness. Lifetime Fitness is like this overrated brand. Like it's cool, it's overpriced, it's cool. Midtown Athletic used to be Windy Hill Athletic Club, is a private club over off Cobb Parkway.
Okay.
Or it's on Windy Hill.
Exactly.
And we used to go up there 15, 20 deep. Like we'd come up there and have people come in town, be like, hey, let's go pull up and hoop. So we used to hoop with like Bobby Valentino, my nigga who played Biggie and Notorious.
Yeah.
You hoop with him.
Oh yeah, Jamal.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean whatever. Gravy.
We used to hoop with like there used to be a bunch of us hooping. A couple
Cam.
Yeah, Cam. Like it'd be like Stally come up there hoop. Like, it'd be like a bunch of like artists and then athletes. The Atlanta Falcons cheerleaders practice there. So it was like some cool shit.
Yeah, a bit shaking.
So we used to go there and Saha used to argue. Like, this nigga likes to argue. Kobe Bryant was his favorite hooper. Okay. He thought he was Kobe Bryant. And then he liked to argue and cuss the entire time.
It's crazy.
So we had been there 15, 20 deep. Mind just a white people club.
Right.
Windy Hill Athletic.
Man, they like, look, man. So they changed the rules to now you had to, because it was only like 2 people that were actually members there when we were going, which is Mike, and then I eventually became a member. And then Saha eventually became a member. But at the time, man, we just pull up 15, 20 people deep.
And just walk in.
And we just walk in and go hoop and just take over the gym and just hoop.
Some nigga shit.
Man, they were like, they changed the rules to like, if you come as a visitor, you can only come twice now.
They slick with it.
You can only come twice. They said now they, like, in order to break it up, they see a lot of people coming up. There's a sign-in board that they actually have somebody come monitor the sign-in board to see who's playing.
Your name?
Yeah, I'm like, bro.
Wow.
So like all the rules changed. I was like, damn, bro. So Saha got us banned from Windy Hill Athletic.
Interesting.
How did you link up with him to begin with?
Mike Brinkley was manager.
Okay, gotcha.
So
who Mike manage now?
So Mike is with Meek Mill,
Okay.
Yo Gotti,
Nice.
Lil Uzi, Alicia Keys.
Full plate. God damn.
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
Platter Boyz.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
yeah. It's,
Nice.
Yeah, it's real. Hey, now I know you also A&R with Danny Wolf,
yes.
right?
Well, I manage Danny Wolf.
Oh, okay.
I manage Danny Wolf now.
So when you talk about working with an artist and making sure that their music is connecting with the public, how do you kind of get that message through with a producer in his production?
So the interesting thing about producers, I'm very selective of the producers I even work with, because my thing is I shouldn't have to outwork you. And the thing about when I started working with Danny, like Danny was the person I had to be like, all right, slow down.
Gotcha.
And telling somebody to slow down is the hardest shit in the world, especially if they are like
Creative.
Yeah. But he was already 10 steps ahead of where I see him going. So like it was an easy situation. Like Danny is like, he's hella talented. He's hella talented too. And he understands the idea of, like, a lot of producers don't understand the idea of collaborating. And Danny, if there's a place where he was lacking in as a producer, he would find other producers that were strong in those areas and actually give them a platform to actually have a chance. And so like there's shit. You go down the line of the producers he's collaborated with on some big records, and shit, they are like, yo, anything you need, Danny, I got you. So like for him, it wasn't hard to connect because he's a people person. He only works with certain artists that he wants to work with. Like he's not the producer that's gonna be like, I'm gonna load everybody up with beats. Nah, there's like legit, you have to either know him or you have to like, it got to be like some cool shit that we can do.
Yeah. So what's your role in it then? Are you looking for artists to link him up with? You looking for producers to link him up with?
always like he's so even now where the space we're in now, like Danny is establishing his own label, his own situation where he's developing artists. He's like one of the first artists he started establishing was Lil Tecca.
Okay.
And now Lil Tecca is who Lil Tecca
took off.
is.
Yeah.
So he's still in that place now where he's finding artists and working with. So there's a lot of new artists that he's working with now that are super, super dope.
Okay.
So how do you go back and forth from being an A&R to a manager? Like how do you?
It's easy. I mean, it's the music. Like I love the music. I love the aspect of. Some days, like it's very like I just had to learn how to.
You take one day, Monday.
Not even that.
Tuesday.
I think my time management skills are different now. Like now, like because even now, like I'm working on a whole 6-7 different projects right now. Like,
so I got a better question for you then. What's your focus when you're in A&R, and what's your focus when you're managing?
So, if I'm A&R at the time, like if I'm working with a particular artist, like my focus is that artist. Like I'm not worried about like
the project, what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm only worried like I literally you have to be in that moment, because if you're not in that moment, like it'll never connect. Like you almost got to think, how do I recreate a moment that I can stay in? So like I can't create a moment if I'm not there with you. If I'm not paying attention, if I'm like focused on 10 other things I got to do, I can't create that moment for you. So like when I'm there locked in. So but now like my days are longer, my nights are shorter. Like I sleep less, and cause like right now I'm going home and reading the script.
You're preaching to the choir, bro. Yeah,
no, that's right.
Exactly what you mean.
Reading the script for who? You got an artist that's thinking about getting into acting?
So I'm not even supposed to really talk on it, but like I'm going into a different direction for some things. I'm doing some music supervision stuff. So
nice.
So
music
cool.
Supervision.
What does it mean when you say y'all handle music distribution?
So we actually have the capacity now through Equity to distribute music. So the same way you would go into DistroKid, CD Baby, or Empire, we can distribute it ourselves through our handle, Platter Boyz, and it'll be under Equity. So Equity is the distribution company under Roc Nation. So literally, you're in the system of Roc Nation system.
So what? Tell me the benefits of that.
I mean the benefits of it are like, you
go into the Roc Nation brunch.
Not even that. Like everybody. I'm not gonna say anybody can go get a distribution company, but like by us having a distribution through a major, we now have the ability to say, okay, cool. We can use the assets of Equity. We can say, okay, if we need a marketing team, we can tap into that marketing team for you things. We can tap in. We have resources now, outside resources to tap into.
Gotcha.
So even though there are no physical copies in actual distribution, those things are still important with streaming.
Oh man, shit! I wouldn't even put out a record unless I had something. Like if there's so many components. We were talking about this in the hallway. There's so many components to putting out a record now. Like you have to have. If you spend $5,000 on making a record, why would you not spend the same thing on marketing a record?
Right. What's some of the biggest mistakes that artists make right now when it comes to marketing?
Stopping.
What do you mean?
So I read an article the other day, the genius marketing of Lil Nas X, and that little nigga is a genius. I have to give him credit. He is a genius.
Please explain.
So Lil Nas X, the Old Town Road, Lil Nas X, he built his demographic based on Twitter.
Right.
His demographic was built on Twitter. He was a funny motherfucker on Twitter, like funny as hell.
Still funny. Yeah.
So he realized when putting out music, like people were more inclined to look at his comedy and looking at his music. So he started partnering his music with memes. And we started partnering his music with memes. He reached out to he had found a video of a cowboy riding on a horse standing up. And the dude happened to be going viral, but he needed a song to put on the record. So Lil Nas X was like, you should add this song to the record. The dude tweeted it. Brilliant. Dude put it out, and literally that's when it took off. That added legs. So he was doing the same thing, like going across the board and just reaching out to different people who were in his realm, and they were actually adding value to the record without even him putting any money behind it. So
just using social media,
exactly,
people's influence.
He actually used social media to his advantage. So
that was genius. I give him.
Like his whole rollout, like literally, it showed from start to finish, and he said where the record was gonna go.
So what are some other rollouts that you admire? Speaking of that one, like maybe Beyonce when she dropped out of the blue that time. What are some other innovative?
I mean,
rollouts?
Beyonce. Like Beyonce can drop.
She do that tomorrow.
So the biggest thing, like my biggest turnoff for artists now is when they feel like they can just say, "Oh, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and drop a record." The fuck you mean you just gonna wake up tomorrow and drop the record? Like, nigga,
you're not Beyonce.
You're not Drake, nigga.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
In all honesty, you not. So so I think that people who have gotten it right, and it's dope to see it. Like Travis Scott just not gonna drop a record. His rollouts are crazy. Like everybody can't make an Astro World, but you can.
And shit.
But you can be creative and say, okay, people are foreshadowing where their projects can be. So like you look at a Lil Nas X and seeing where he's like, yo, my record can be here. He was performing on the Grammys.
Yeah.
He performed that record came out 2 years ago. He performed on the Grammys this year.
Right. Yep.
So like for him to say, okay, how do I get to a Grammy place? Artists look at it and say, how do I get this record to get to that place? People never have projections of where they want to see that record, there's never a realistic expectation for that record. Nice. So a lot of people don't set like checkpoints and say, okay, if I get to 100,000 mark, this is what I got to do to get to 1 million. Yep. This is what I got to do to get to 100 million. Yep. Like people don't set those checkpoints because now the content is becoming so like, if it's not quality content, literally you hear it today, you won't care about the record again until you hear it randomly.
Disposable. Yeah.
Exactly. But then I can go back and listen to damn SZA Control several times, and it'd be fire, still be the same fire she put out.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep. What's the speaking of future goals? What's the 5-10 year plan for Platter Boyz?
Man, right now we are in the process of solidifying or turning up we got a lot of cool artists about to come out.
Okay.
Or that are out right now, and then production wise, like we're working on a lot of extremely fire albums like that I am extremely proud of. So in 5 to 10 years, I see Platter Boyz going to. It's scary to even think about it because like even to think about where we are today, I knew we could get here, but I never knew the path it would take to get here. So the guys that like all the guys like, for instance, I got some guys right now there. Carrington is hers MD, her music director. So he handles all hers sound and her road show.
Okay.
Make sure all that's dope. He's a Platter Boy. He's one of the creators with us, Platter Boys. Jason is he's hers programmer. He programs the show. I said Marlon, my business partner, he's also an amazing writer. He wrote Dage Loaf records. And he's has his own thing going on with Tiana Taylor, with a bunch of different situations. Of course, Mike at Roc Nation. So like, I think we all bring something so crazy to the table that literally in the next 10 years, I mean, I can see us putting out movies. I can see us doing sports. Like, we've already dabbled in sports. Like,
sky's the limit.
Swag.
2020, what can we look forward to? Who are some of the artists that we need to be checking for?
2020. So I got these new guys that are dope. The Rage Twins. They are Ricky Bands and Brylan Kerr. They're extremely dope.
Rage Twins.
Yes.
Okay.
They are like literally I don't know. It's always been hard for me to recapture the essence of Edgewood what it was. When you had the 2-9, the Key, OG Macko, you had that whole little squad, that energy. Yeah. But I found them and they are encompassing that energy. Like, these kids are doing their own parties called Studio 37. And they've done over 100,000 kids in the last 10 months coming to their parties. But it's out here.
Shit.
But literally, they've done that, cultivated that same energy that Edgewood had, and they've been moving it. Like, it's been moving around. So like, I'm really excited to see what they have coming up.
Who your favorite artist from North Carolina?
My favorite?
It's only two.
Nah,
P.D. Pablo.
The Baby's from North Carolina.
Oh, that's right.
The Baby, J.
Cole.
Cole. Rhapsody.
I mean, for me,
that's true. Yeah, you're right. My bad, North Carolina. I just played y'all. It's definitely more than two.
Right,
my bad.
My bad. Brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, like I got.
For me, that's tough. Cause when you say favorite, I have favorite for different reasons. Like,
just name it.
Lyrically, it would be J. Cole.
Okay.
But doing this stuff proper, like doing this the right way, is the Baby. Like, that nigga understands it.
You're a fan of the business.
I'm a fan. Like, he literally got his opportunity, and he's like, look, there's nothing you're gonna tell me I can't do that I'm not going to do. I'm gonna do it before you even ask me to do it, and I'm gonna do it with, like, nigga, I don't want to go back to where I used to be.
Yep.
So he's collecting all the bags.
Even though he keep making the same song, I agree.
That's an overstatement. If people are overstating that.
But the thing is, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
That's one thing.
Fair.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
It'll keep you high for like a year, right?
There's enough differences. No, you gotta strike.
So you gotta also understand too, like, with artists, like, every artist is only gonna have a hot 6 months, hot 6 months to a year,
if you lucky.
Right. If you lucky,
right.
But the funny thing is, after that hot 6 months to a year, they might not be in the limelight as much, but they're still on the hot street, because now
they're torn.
Now they're going through the corporate brand stage, where now they're getting put on by the brands. Like, they're doing the
Doritos commercials.
Yeah, exactly. So like, they're doing stuff where the bag is 10 times bigger, less people. Shit, I like the odds.
Yeah, I ain't mad at the odds.
So like, I think he's doing it right. Like, biggest thing is legal stuff with him, but other than that, like, shit, he doing it right.
Those stopping them Doritos commercials. You're right about that.
I mean, shit, if it's not Doritos, I'll take a Frito Lays.
Yeah, that's cool.
Loads of check clear.
Before we get out of here, man, let the people listening know that are looking for representation. We got independent artists that listen. We got producers that listen. What do they need to be working on to either catch the eye of someone to represent, or what should they be looking for in a good A&R? So
the big thing is to have, if you're looking for a manager, have something to manage. Like, don't be like, I need a manager, but then you want a manager because you want somebody to go work for you. Gotcha. Your manager's not intended to work. They're supposed to work for you, but they're working for you, progressing what you already have going on.
They're complimenting you.
Yeah, exactly. I can't, like, literally, I can't put ketchup on a bun with no burger on there. I can't do it.
They call it a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean the ketchup sandwich. Like, this shit is not fulfilling.
Right.
So understand that it is a business too. So like, the biggest thing too, I see a lot of producers that are established that don't have their business together. Like, when I talk about business, the publishing, they don't even understand the basis of publishing, or even if their records are registered properly. So you might have an artist with a producer or artist, whatever, with a record that's over a couple $100 million. and the splits are fucked up on it. So nobody's getting paid except for that one person who got their splits right. And then when you try to change it, now there's a hole, so nobody can get paid. So understanding the business, like being young, learn the business early, because you hate to make those mistakes when it's cool to make that mistake for $10, but it's hard to make that mistake for $10,000 or $100,000.
How do you suggest they prepare themselves? Like YouTube, talking to people?
Oh man,
What's the best way to learn the business?
YouTube, and hit the streets, man. Like literally, like when I was trying to figure this shit out, I was at South by Southwest. I was at I was skipping spring breaks to go to South by. I was skipping spring breaks to go to if there's a panel or something within driving range or that I can get to and I can afford to do it. Get there, learn, meet, find a mentor. Like I have a mentor, so everybody like find a mentor and find somebody that find somebody that's not gonna steer you wrong, and that's gonna always keep it real with you. Cause like what you don't want to have is somebody always tell you dope and nobody ever tell you trash. Because the person that don't tell you trash, or the person that does tell you trash, is actually the person that's being honest. Because it'll gas you up to be better.
That's true.
That's a fact.
Good one to end on.
Hey man, where can they find you on social media, bro?
I'm on everything at Juju_A&R.
Juju_A, letter N and R.
Yes.
Man, there it is. Hey, good luck to Platter Boyz and everything y'all boys got doing this year. We're going to be keeping an eye on y'all, man.
Appreciate it.
We know y'all going to take off.
Thank you.
Platter Boyz up here. Get some good guys up here.
Thank you.
Talk
for
to
sure.
them too, man.
For sure.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
man.
you stopping by.
Hey, man, y'all don't go nowhere, man. On deck, we'll be right back. Hey, what's good, people? It's your man, Animal Brown, checking in from the OndeckTV podcast. Hey, do me a favor. Make sure you go to patreon.com/realville and check out the latest album review that we've got up, all right? This week is Yo Gotti's Untrapped album. Me and Lou chopping it up, reviewing, debating, discussing Yo Gotti's latest project. Hit that link in the description, man, and go subscribe. Man, we are back. It's the OndeckTV podcast. Holla at your boy Animal Brown.
I am Spike Lou.
Man, shout out to Juju McLean, man. Listen, I need to go to that Roc Nation brunch. I said he said it was cool. It still looks amazing. I gotta go.
I'm in there.
Y'all make sure y'all catch up on what Platter Boyz is doing out here in these streets.
I'm in there like swimwear, my nigga. Look.
Gotta get it.
Oh man,
Shit.
got the corona. We handing out wins and losses, man. Handing out a big old W to Birdman, a brand new docuseries, new cash order, now playing on Spotify. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm all in. I think it's a 4-part series on Spotify, but it's video though, so it's not just audio. I'm here for it. It talks about how him and Slim came up and what they got going on now. Anytime there's a Cash Money documentary, I'm here for it. I'm big fans.
Fool me once, nigga, shame on you. How's that saying go? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Whatever George Bush said on the 2014. I remember they tried to get this off with Apple, and they did their whole Birdman documentary, and only one part ever came out.
Yeah, that was trash.
It was trash.
That was trash.
Not letting them fool me again. I am not here for that. Handing out a big L to Paul Rosenberg, stepping down as the Def Jam CEO after only 2 years.
Yeah, we looked at that crazy when it happened. We were like, huh? This must be a ploy just to get M on Def Jam. He didn't even do that. So this is a fail.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm disagreeing with you. This is a W for Paul Rosenberg. You get a big dog job.
Okay.
You don't do shit for 2 years. Get a big boy check, and you hire all your friends to contribute to you not doing shit while you spending the company money. It's a W.
Def Jam is, bro, I don't know what they got to get it together, dude, because they losing that cachet.
Who would you hire as the new CEO of Def Jam?
Man, somebody with some fucking that's gonna get shit done.
Put a name out there. Like, if it's ideal in a dream world, who would you like to see?
Shit, Russ.
Russ who? Nah, I ain't gonna.
Russell
I like
Simmons.
Russ. Oh, Russell Simmons.
Yeah, no, not Russ, the artist.
Russ.
That's funny
You
too.
got to be clear. I like Russ now though. He grew on me.
You should like him before when he beat up Smoke Purman.
And I liked his explanation. His explanation was hilarious. Did you hear that?
Yes,
Nigga,
and it was
like,
factual.
How you gonna diss a nigga? Not like when I walk up to you and you've dissed me, expect to get hit in the mouth. What are we discussing, dude? There are no more. Did you diss me? Yes. Hit in the mouth. I fuck with Russ for that. That was real.
But no, not Russ, but Russell Simmons.
Russell Simmons.
Because he'll get shit done.
I heard an interesting one on the Joe Budden podcast. Shout out to Joe.
Never heard of it.
Kanye West.
Oh, hell no.
Kanye West couldn't run Def Jam?
He can't run good music.
That's true.
Yeah, nah, that's my guy. He changed his mind too much. He too indecisive, bro.
What about DJ Khaled? Because at the end of the day, if you're an artist and you go to Def Jam, don't you want somebody in that seat like when Jay was there?
I want somebody who's going to promote my shit, and DJ Khaled will do that. And he'll make it sound amazing, and he'll big up, and he'll sell it. You need somebody that's first. You need people that you can sell, and you need somebody in that seat who can sell it, like a Puff. But I mean, obviously, he's got his own situation. Like, what has Def Jam even came out with anyway in the last 2 years? I don't understand. It's quiet.
Ross.
That was quiet.
Jason versus Freddie.
Even quieter.
2 Chainz rapper go to the league.
LeBron saved that.
LeBron definitely did save that. Yeah, man, it was rough. Paul just did this. He does what white people do. He went and colonized Def Jam. He went and raped it for everything it was worth. Got all his friends' jobs, and now I'm out. Produces Big L to Buffalo Wild Wings and the Boneless Thugs and Harmony. What a swing and a miss. The whiff. Shout out to my boy DP. A big L to Buffalo Wild Wings, man, for this Boneless Thugs and Harmony stint they tried to pull on us for their promo. Were you fucking with it?
This is hilarious.
This is not funny.
This is a W.
This sucks.
Like, first of all, the commercial is hilarious. And what's even funnier is that Busy wasn't there, because I know he wasn't down with none of this shit. Busy Bone ain't got a second for this type of shit.
Not at all.
But in actuality, in theory, it does sound corny, but that's the point. It's supposed to be a joke. That's what made the commercial funny, because they were playing it. It was almost like a mockumentary, like how The Office be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's serious, but it's jokes. So it was funny. Like, this, in theory, it does sound corny, but the commercial was funny, so I'm letting it slide.
Buffalo Wild Wings commercials be funny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like them and Arby's to make the same commercials. Right?
Yes,
yeah,
that shit is funny. So this was funny because people thought this was a real story. Because that's what the headline was. Bone changes their name to Boneless Thugs. That was the headline. So you can't tell in text that, well, wait, what?
That's funny.
And it gets impressions, so it worked.
All right, man. Ondecker of the week this week, man.
Who that?
We rarely give Ondecker of the week out to a rapper for rapping.
Oh, shit.
So let's do that. Let's give an Ondecker of the week, Roy, to Royce the 5'9". Nigga came out with Allegory this week, and this album is fire.
Yeah, it is. That Allegory is tough.
It is well put together. It is well thought out. It is more than, because Royce is a rapping ass nigga.
Of course.
And this is more than just like rapping. Like, this is a story. Like, he put some shit into this, and I like it.
Now, he weaving some shit together on here. I'm not going to lie. This is easily on my top 10 at the end of the year.
Nah, it's not
and I haven't even really got a chance to process it like I want to.
I got to listen to this 3 more. I listened to it on my way to New York, and I was on the flight like, nah, I don't believe this. And nigga shit, hey, we gonna review it later. But
we got to.
Hey, that's good. On deck of the week, Royce the 5'9" for like putting out a phenomenal album.
Shout out to Royce, man. I can't wait to talk about that.
All right, put me on something, man. What you got?
We mentioned Spotify earlier. I've been listening to Infamous, the Tekashi 6ix9ine story, the podcast on Spotify.
No way.
It's fire.
I don't believe that.
I'm not gonna. It's fire.
Really?
Angie Martinez is narrating. She's doing a really good job at that, and it's basically telling everything that we said was going on. But it's just good to hear it's like a 30 for 30. That's all it is.
Interesting.
It's a 30 for 30 on Tekashi, and it's a lot of interesting stuff. That dude was actually put together the same way we looked and was like,
how is that happening?
This shit is fugazi.
Yeah.
It was fugazi, but it's good to hear how it was put together from the people who were responsible for putting it together. It's interesting.
Oh, okay.
What you got to put me on?
I was listening to Expeditiously.
You still listening to that?
I do, because Snowman was on there. Actually, it was a good one.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had an interview with just him and Jeezy talking back and forth, which was good. And he had an interview with him and Jada Kiss, was just talking. Him talking to the rappers is good, and it's a different aspect from when Nori does it. So he just did the interview with Fab, one with Jada Kiss, and one with Jeezy. All of them were good, because you could tell how comfortable they were with T.I., but it wasn't on no drunk Nori shit.
That's what I'm saying. Was Jeezy actually talking, though?
Yeah, because he looks at T.I. like, okay, this is my friend.
Contemporary.
Yeah,
Okay.
Just like Jada Kiss was very comfortable.
Okay.
I've never heard Jada Kiss that comfortable. But back to the Jeezy and T.I., they did confirm. T.I. held Jeezy's feet to the fire, and he said, when are we doing our collab album?
That's over for
They
that.
put a date on it. They said it will be out before the end of the year.
It's over with for that.
I'm waiting on that. I think it was called something, Trap School or some shit like that. Some shit.
Skip school.
But I want to hear that Teezy and G.I. collab. So I'm putting y'all on that. Be looking for it before the end of the year. Yes. Teezy,
7 years late, guys.
Let's hear it. I'm here for it. But check out those 3 interviews from Expeditiously too. That was really good.
I definitely check it out, man. And check out those Boneless Thugs and Harmony wings.
No, it's not. No.
Hey, man, we will see y'all next week. We appreciate y'all checking in. Patreon.com/RealVille for these album reviews, including that Royce the 5'9". We'll be doing that soon.
Yeah, that's got to come to you.